Hello! Today I wanted to talk about my 2026 Great American Rail Trail route differences compared to 2024. My 2026 route is very similar to what I actually rode in 2024. I would say 95% the same at least. I'm going to put in the description a link to my 2026 RWGPS collection. That collection includes my routes for 2026, but it also includes the actual rides in 2024. So you can see exactly what's different. When you look at the collection, you're going to see a file naming structure. The first part is GART for Great American Rail Trail. The second part is a number followed by a letter, and that's the actual route segment. Well, then you'll see the beginning city, and then you'll see the end city of that section. And then if there's something like an option, like that section has two different possible options, you'll see the option at the end. I believe all the actual rides start with a date, so that's how you'll know those. My route is more hotel to hotel. If you'd rather have more of a bike packing adventure with a lot of gravel, then you're going to want the Great American Wheel Adventure route. I think that's GAWA. I've also put an early version of that route on my collection, so you can get a sense of the differences. I'd say my route and their route is 70% the same. That group is also planning a grand apart. When we talk about the changes to the route, I'd say it breaks down into several categories. Number one is avoiding gravel between the rail trails. And what happened was I ran into some difficult situations because there's just no way to know what those trails are like when you're just using a mapping app. And in fact, I had a big problem when I rode these forest roads in Washington, and they turned out to be nothing but a ATV track, at least part of it. And then I had another issue later on in Wyoming where the gravel road that I thought was public turned out to be private and was marked "Do Not Enter" as it was a ranch. The other thing is, I learned that I didn't mind riding the roads. It made it easier. It's harder to ride on gravel than it is on paved surfaces. Paved roads were just not as bad as I thought they would be. I thought I would hate that, all that riding on the roads, but I didn't. I enjoyed it. Generally, the cars were nice to me. A lot of the roads were not very heavily trafficked, or they had a good shoulder. Number two is fixing issues that came up in 2024. So I've addressed some of the problem spots. The third thing is picking up a few rail trails that I missed. Some just got added. Some I learned about in 2024. Some I just changed my route so I could hit them. Obviously, we all like the rail trails. That's why we're riding this route. In the next few weeks, I'll discuss the differences in each route segment, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why it's different.